I am no longer amazed at how China, with a population 12 times that of the Philippines, can liberate 800 million of its people from abject poverty in 30 years. I am no longer surprised at how this closest neighbor to us can guide another neighbor, Indonesia, to becoming the 10th largest manufacturing country in just 10 years of mutual cooperation. An experience that can replicate in any of the more than 150 countries that have so far signed up with China's Belt and Road Initiative. The Political Bureau established document drafting group that would be established for the third plenary session under its standing committee. Xi Jinping served as the chief of this group, with Wang Huning, Kai Ji, and Ding Huijiang as deputy chiefs. The drafting work began first meeting on December 8th, and over the past 7 months or so, the group carried out thorough surveys and studies, extensively solicited opinions, conducted debates on major topics, held multiple discussions, and revised the drafts many times. My goodness, the Philippine Congress, you know what's missing? I have noticed that seldom does the Philippine Congress now conduct plenary sessions precisely because of the slow output coming out for proposed legislations from its different committees. Most of the circus now occurs in the committee hearings by politicians whose main intention is to seek re-election in the forthcoming 2025 midterm. In drafting the document, focus on the following priorities was used. First, and this should be a learning grid for our government officials in the Philippines. First, principles were laid down, adhering to, and ensuring the right political orientation on the basis of reviewing and applying the valuable experience China has gained since the launch of reform and opening up in the 1970s, up to the current endeavor to comprehensively deepen reform in the new era. Second, the group stuck to a problem-oriented approach and worked out plans for further deepening reform comprehensively with a focus on advancing Chinese modernization and on implementing the major strategic plans set out at the party's 20th National Congress. Third, priorities were sorted out. Xi Jinping said we have prioritized institutional reform, reforms of strategic and overarching importance, and the leading role of economic structural reform, thus underscoring the guidance of reform measures. Fourth, the group adhered to the principle of putting people first to see that reforms are designed and advance with the overall fundamental and long-term interest of the people in mind. Fifth, overarching, integrated, and systematic plans were made to ensure that reforms in the different sectors work in concert, a process of integration, and producing desirable results. On November 27, 2023, the Central Committee issued a notice about soliciting opinions on the agenda of the third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee from all localities, departments, and sectors, as well as some officials and individuals. My goodness. A widespread debate on policy. When did that last happen to the Philippines? On May 7, 2024, finally the text of the resolution was issued to select party members, including retired senior party officials, for consultation. They are fine-tuning. Opinions were also sought from central committees of other political parties to check how the political interaction might not cause divisions but unity in political thought from prominent figures without party affiliation and from relevant enterprises, scholars, and experts that Kamentong was mentioning earlier. And now, finally submitted to the third plenum this July. A long 6 to 7 year process of searching for the right problems to solve and picking the minds of an entire population, an entire nation, to come up with proposed solutions. Processing this through the different sectors of society and fine-tuning it through the academe, a close collaboration with government officials for presentation finally to the third plenum. Based on a careful study of synthesized 1,911 opinions and suggestions received from all sides. The drafting group incorporated as many of these as possible into the draft, resulting in 221 revisions to the text. During the 6 months of survey, consultation, and drafting process, the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau met 3 times, and the Political Bureau convened 2 occasions for the purpose of reviewing the draft versions. The culmination of this is the final draft, and that drafting group has submitted to the third plenary session of the third plenum for deliberation. In China, to make this a reality on the ground has already been ongoing. But I would like to go straight to my conclusion. And if you want my paper, just communicate with us. While this glimpse of how policy in a huge country processing through the second largest population in the world is determined, given 100 years of humiliation by colonial powers, as one of the worst dirt-poor nations left behind, to become the second strongest economy, and in a few more years, the preeminent superpower in the planet, no longer perplexed my mind. China's model is a bottoms-up governance executed by men and women who earn their positions in governance through meritocracy. Now I understand an adverb often used by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China. Resolutely. In the Philippines, no citizen is again consulted for any decision affecting government in between elections. We only choose people who would represent us in Congress and those we elect to the executive branch often turn to their own interests rather than to the people, while their representation in governance. I am no longer amazed at how China, with a population 12 times that of the Philippines, can liberate 800 million of its people from abject poverty in 30 years. I am no longer surprised at how this closest neighbor to us can guide another neighbor, Indonesia, to becoming the 10th largest manufacturing country in just 10 years of mutual cooperation. An experience that can replicate in any of the more than 150 countries that have so far signed up with China's Belt and Road Initiative. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippines has not even joined the Belt and Road Initiative. And we have our own self-inflicted problems with China. This is a lesson, not only for our times, but throughout history, that we can look back to and look forward to, because China will definitely achieve its objectives in modernization despite the other superpowers trying to prevent it from doing so. Why? Because its power rests on its own people, and its determination comes resolutely. Thank you.
Okay.